YouTube on my laptop to make sure that to see the if anyone makes comments or anything like that. So okay. Well, welcome everyone. I guess I'll kick it off.
I don't see it off live.
Yeah, it's online. So, welcome everyone. Joe and I are back. We're here back at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to show my screen because it's probably
I don't know. I had that certain urge to start singing a little. Guess who's back? Back
a
again.
little Eminem,
Woody's back. Tell me you're from Detroit, so I gonna have to do that.
Slim Shady.
Isn't that part of your like graduation requirements for high school? You have to be able to sing
No,
at least one Eminem
no.
song.
Well, I graduated way before Eminem, so uh, so no, I have no idea what people do for high school graduations in Michigan anymore. But so as you can see, here's the baseball history app. I did run through last night and this morning. I ran through all five sprints. So everything is converted. At least the team says everything is converted. I want to do one more pass before we take this branch and check it back in the main.
So are all the issues closed or marked as complete? I know we talked about whether they should be closed
Yeah,
or
you
not.
know what? That is a good question. I didn't know. I was thinking maybe once we checked everything back in the main, we would
Yeah,
go through
that's the
and close
right way
out.
to do it, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. So no, no events or no issues have been closed, and the milestone has not been marked as completed.
Yeah.
So,
So
so let's do this. Let's make sure the team is awake. I'll just say team wake up.
yeah, I've been
And
having trouble with that. The last three times I've started a session with Copilot and said, "Hey, team, wake up," or "Team, are you there?" or blah blah blah. It keeps saying, "Oh, I can't find the team. We're in a knit mode," and I have to say, "Okay, look again because the team exists." And comes back and says, "Oh yeah, you're right. It does exist." So I don't know what
okay,
it's searching for, even though it lists a looking for team.md and squad.md. For whatever reason, the first pass never finds it.
okay. Well, this time it said board sync is done, the squad is active, team state is loaded from baseball history, and the labeled migration backlog is still visible on GitHub.
Yep.
Uh, and older migration still carry squad. So it looks
What's
like
14, 15, and 16?
yeah, that's. Let's ask the team. Team, what is left to do for issues 14, 15, and 16?
Well, 16 was the master one to say it was all done.
Yeah, but I still wanted to say, okay, how you doing today, Joe?
I am doing okay. A little frustrated with my squad lately.
Hmm.
Seems to be just keep repeating the same mistakes that we keep quote unquote correcting. So
Well,
so
you
much that I put together a blog post about it yesterday, or well, yesterday as of the time we recorded this, around it, and still learning what how to interact with them. But at some point, it says that I can tell you're a little bit frustrated, and it's like, yeah, well, I repeated myself three times.
well, it's okay.
But it also,
Squat
quote unquote,
agents are
admits when it's
perfect.
wrong.
So, what's that?
It it does admit when it's wrong, so that's a
Hmm.
good thing. But
Yeah,
every time it's wrong, it costs money, because we're using tokens and
we're
such.
using tokens. Yes,
No local
yes.
code appears left. Remaining verses make sure to appear. Orange, then close your issue, satisfied. Cleanup work is also. These are probably all the ones that are done, just not merged, so they haven't done.
Well, everything is merged. So, I've actually, or at least committed. It's not merged. Everything has been committed to GitHub. So nothing is left locally. Uh, and then we have one important admin wrinkle. The only open PR I can see is PR 17. And so let's go see what.
You can view your PRs right there within Rider too. Oh, you have to have that. I don't know if you have it added.
I don't think I do.
It's in the three dots underneath your AWS. Here's pull request. It's alphabetical order.
Yeah. Okay.
And that will show any pull requests. Close your name.
There we go. So let's go back here.
If you double click on it,
So,
it'll tell you what it's there.
so we, yeah, basically we have
So
Sprint
that's everything for
2.
this migration,
Yeah.
right?
So I had a PR. I did a PR for Sprint 1, and then I just did the remaining 4. So the remaining 4 are all, I think, are part of this PR. But let's go, let's make sure. And I do things maybe a little differently. So let's go pull in. Oh, I already have it. So there we go. So we have a PR, but let's go out to, let's take a look at the branch that all this. So do we have,
A little bit above that, you'll see the branches.
yeah. So I just want to make sure everything is in this PR that I've checked in. So right now it looks like it's just sprint 1 work. So how would I bring in the rest of the stuff? I am I'm okay,
Bring in the rest of
code.
what?
Well, I have a bunch of things beyond just sprint 1. I want to make sure that everything, all 5 sprints are in this PR. And if I take a look at the PR, like if I take a look at the PR, it is just showing me sprint 1.
Well, there should be a bunch of commits right there.
Let's
So
make
you click on
sure,
the
yeah,
commits.
let's make sure that these commits. So that was 16. Okay, so it is all part. Okay, good, good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because it was a little confusing just seeing it as sprint 1. So everything is ready to be merged. Um, so we have that. Joe's typing. One important. Okay, so I think we're ready for everything, but I do want to. One thing that I want to do. I was talking with Joe before we came online. I do want to make sure that every all of the controls from my HTMX Razor web component kit that can be using HTMX actually are using HTMX. So Joe, I don't know how long this will take. Well, you
How
know
long
what?
will it take that query? It shouldn't take long,
Well,
a
let's
minute or
check.
two, depending on the speed.
So team
I would
can
just have your architect do it. It's gonna get
Ripley.
assigned
Okay.
to him or her anyway.
Ripley, can you verify that all uh, components that uh, that are, well, let's go back and do this. HTMX Razor components. Shoot. That are being used in the solution that can, how would I say that? That can use HTMX for backend connections are actually using HTMX.
Was
Is
there?
that a convoluted question, Joe?
No, but I think there is a way to potentially clarify it. So
Okay.
what what you're asking is for everything that's a Razor or an HTMX Razor component, is there a way
Yep.
to quickly identify them in the code in the CHTML or that?
Yes. Yes, because they
How?
all have the RHX dash uh,
Okay.
nomenclature.
So I would add take the thing back to Razor components and then put in parentheses. No, keep going all the way to the left. So you say, can you verify that all HTMX Razor components, and then right after that, I would put parentheses identified with backtick or whatever the nomenclature is.
RHX dash indicators.
And I would put
And
backticks surrounding RHX dash
okay.
so it knows that that's code. And then what property would it look at
Well, it
to
would
say
know.
for
It would
backend
just. There's no
connections?
property that says that something is. It just there are components that can a majority of the components can use HTMX, but not all of them. So, but
Well,
there's
for
no
the
real
ones that
property.
can, what property would be there that
There's no
indicates?
there's no property. It's just part of the design of the component itself. Like
Okay.
there's
I'm trying to
nothing that,
figure out what it's going to actually look for.
well, it's going to have to, well, previously I gave it all the documentation for HTMX Razor and
Okay.
the website, so it's going to probably have to use that because I
Okay.
there isn't kind of a Boolean or some kind of setting uh, that says use HTMX. It's just like you can, all components that can use HTMX don't have to use HTMX. They
Okay.
can use they can just live without it if they need to.
So
So
let's try it out now.
let's see. Okay.
I remember asking this the other day, but I don't remember what the answer is. You don't have an MCP server for
No,
your
no,
HTMX Razor, right?
no. That could be a good future streaming session. I'm gonna make a note of that. Hopefully, we'll have to stream in the evenings soon because we're both going to be working. And if anyone's out there, we are looking for jobs.
Yep.
Our wives would appreciate that. What are you working on?
I've had my agents doing some of the next level multi-tenancy stuff. Or I started like a week ago for it to add multi-tenancy, and we've been slowly implementing features. And the last three pull requests have just been denied for some reason, and the latest one that just finished about 15 minutes ago was denied. So I gotta see why
Yeah,
the
I hate when they
architect
deny.
denied it.
Yeah. So last night I was talking to someone and they brought up an interesting question. So there's this idea, MCP's been around for well, maybe a little more than a year or so, or
Just
maybe
around the
almost, yeah, about a year. And this person said, "Well, I wouldn't do a MCP server. I would actually build out a CLI." And I was like, huh. And this was more for like if a big enterprise organization had a bunch of APIs that they wanted to build like reference documentation around and stuff, and they went, I would actually do a CLI because then this person thought it would be more logical to get back the information from a CLI,
I
which
guess it really depends. I mean, the
yeah,
MCP servers are done in for two different things. The most common usage is some form of way to document an API or document an application. So, like we talked about the other day, there's an MCP server that kind of talks about all the docs through Aspire, so the co-pilots and other agents have a better way of understanding what it is versus reading a straight API. And that's one of the most common uses. Other things are for AI agents to be able to get data. I mean, they're basically created
yeah,
mostly for AI agents to get some form of data or metadata around something. They're not necessarily meant for API consumption. I mean, there's no reason to put an MCP wrapper around an API if you're just going to call that.
no,
It's
exactly,
helpful if you want to use like Copilot to say, hey, give me all the players that batted over 300 for 2 years in a row. Copilot can then use the API to figure out how to translate that quote unquote human text into an actual query of API so it can gather that data.
you're right, you're right. Sorry, I was just posting out on LinkedIn that you and I were live on YouTube.
Cool.
So while I was listening to you, okay, so we got a verified. There isn't a gap to fix here. The usage currently in the solution are mostly not back end connected. Huh. That should be are wired with and partial return behavior. Okay, so that this is interesting. So my squad took my literal ask and converted the HTML components to RX or HTMX Razor components, but they didn't, I didn't tell them to explicitly take the HTMX logic and bring those into the art HTMX Razor components that they had created. So they left. So basically, what they did was they changed the component but left the HTMX logic in there. Now, which is what the HTMX Razor components actually do. They have embedded HTMX inside each component that is in there. So my question is that correct? Because it's behaving. I think.
I mean, we can
when it,
look at it and see, find one of the
yeah,
components it created.
yeah. We'll take a look at players. So just let's take a look at. Well, that's a partial. So that's a partial. So let's take a look at index. So players content. So where is that partial async? It's right there. So let me move this down. Um, and this has this has the player header and the alphabet navigation. And then the player list. So let's do player list just to see what's in there. Okay, so we have, basically, this is just going to go through all the players and
You
spit
probably want
out
the
a
player
player
card.
card. So components, where is
It's up.
extension? No. Where would that component was in the? Okay, so we'll just do this. Okay. So player card, there we go. And that is in, oh, shared components. Okay. Okay. So we have player body. Maybe this wasn't. So these are all divs. Let me just do this. Let me do a find in files, every place that has the RHX dash. And we'll just take a look at one. So let's take a look at our badge. Doesn't really give us anything for right now. Oh, that is all the components that got moved. So basically, only badge. That's interesting. Only badge and one or some buttons. Huh. So this button, well, there. This is one of the few things that got migrated over, which I guess, huh, okay, well, I guess my migration thing didn't do what I thought it was probably going to do, so uh, that's okay. It only converted two types of components over: badges and a couple buttons. Which I guess maybe that those were the only two component or HTML uh, directives that could be converted. So it must have did what it was supposed to do. So
I
okay,
guess it depends on the prompt that we gave it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean I'm not blaming, I'm blaming me that I probably gave it a weird prompt that it didn't fully understand. So that's fine. So it looks like it's all done. It's saying there's no gap. Everything is good. We could push the. Where did the. Did it show up? Since I opened it, it probably showed up because it's not showing in that the PR. Oh, well. Let's just do this. I'm just gonna. So we had that. I guess I'm gonna push that. We'll we'll check it in. We'll commit it, and then we'll push, and then we will go out to baseball history, and we will commit that pull request. So let's go out there. Ready to merge, confirm. Okay. Okay, let's go back to our team and
Yeah, while you're doing that, one of the
yeah,
things I noticed while I've been doing it for the last month or so is that while code compiles and runs and tests run, unless you have physical UI tests like Jest or something like that, you have to verify it because just because the code is there and compiles doesn't necessarily mean
I
the
totally
UI
agree.
works.
And I did run it and I did test it, did kind of like my own smoke test on that branch running it, and it looked all fine and good.
Yeah.
So I didn't find any issues. Team, can you close out all completed issues and milestones? Okay.
So you're going to go through yourself manually and kind of look at each of the pages and see what
I
can really
did.
use those components.
Yeah, I did. Well, if so, yes, I think I'm gonna go through and see if I can by hand replace anything. Because I think I'm gonna have to refactor code, actually change some code to use some of the components because I've got divs and then but on my component I have like a card component, which I'm going to have to kind of replace by hand and say, this div I'm going to replace to be a card component, which is going to hopefully almost look the same, if not look better. So, so yeah, I'll have to go through that by hand at some point in the future, but that's probably going to be something down the road because I've got other things on my priority list to do before that. So,
Yep.
let's see if it's closing. Yep. So it's closing out all of the going through and closing them out, as you can see. It's always nice to see dynamic, almost dynamic GitHub closing stuff out. It is strange if this last issue will disappear. Sometimes it'll still say up in the header.
Yeah, it
that,
lingers for a bit, even if you have to refresh the page to clean closed ones.
yeah. So there's no issues. Let's see, and there's all the milestones are closed. So we are back to main, and let's see what the action, because I do have an action, and it didn't fire off. No, 18 seconds ago. Okay. So it looks like it pushed out everything out to Azure. So let's take a look at baseballhistoryproject.com. Let's see if it's broken or if it works. Cross your finger. Okay, we're back. Okay, so let's see if it actually worked, because the last time we looked at it online, some things were broken. So let's
The browse
see.
wasn't working. You couldn't click on a person.
Yep. So Hank Aaron's back out. So it looks like
The search was missing before, or at least
What was
wasn't returning
missing?
any results.
okay. So let's take a look at Detroit Tigers. See
You
how
can delete that
it's
second record in there.
what?
You can delete the Atlanta Braves. It's not worth mentioning.
Oh, you don't like the Braves?
As a former New York Met fan,
Mets
it's hard
fan.
to like the
Oh.
Braves.
Yeah, yeah. When they were so dominant in the
80s.
90s and early 2000s. Well, my favorite right-handed pitcher played for the Braves, Greg Maddux.
He was a
So
great pitcher.
he was a great pitcher.
When he played for the Braves, they had like 3 or 4 great pitchers. It was
Oh
just
yeah, they had
they were
Smoltz.
unhittable.
They
Yeah.
had Smoltz, and they had who's the other pitcher that they
If
had?
you only had an app in front of you that could look
I
that
know,
up.
I know. If only we did. So if only I could go Atlanta Braves and go
Any one of those, I think they were all part of
2002. Let's go back and see Tom Glavine. That's who I'm thinking of.
it.
And
Yeah.
they always had a fourth, like a great fourth player that would always come in
Yeah.
every like 3 or 4 years. Like they had Denny Nagel for a while, and
Yeah, it
they
was
had a
also
number of
they
their
had Chipper
fourth.
Jones
Well,
too.
Chipper Jones was a hitter. I'm talking
Yeah.
about I'm talking about there was always the big three, and then they would just kind of bring in a
Yeah.
really good fourth, and then they would have like a rookie or a series of players to be the fifth starter. But yeah, so let's take a look at let's see if this is all working. So let's take a look at stolen bases if that's working. Okay, so you can even take a look at just 1 year or from 2000 to present, so you can see like who's been doing well the last couple years.
Never
So
even heard of that
cool.
guy.
Jose Ramirez
Yeah.
plays for the yeah,
Formerly
Guardians.
known as the Indians.
Yeah, yeah. He's a really good player.
Well,
So
apparently, based on those stats.
yeah, yeah. He has 175 home runs since 2020. So yeah, so this compare, I have to fix it. So it's a way to compare Like if I want to compare Babe Ruth to Mike Trout,
Trout was another good player.
he was one. I really like Mike Trout, but you can see it will show the comparison. So it'll say like how many All Star selections. So back then there weren't any All Star games in the beginning of Babe Ruth's career, uh, but you can see like stats. So far, so Babe Ruth had played 2,500 games, and Mike Trout has 1,648 as of the end of last season. And you can kind of see how many hits and runs and try to do a comparison. I need to move these numbers to the left. But yeah, like Mike Trout has no pitching stats and Babe Ruth did. So, but you can see, like it will even show you green who's the leader. Like one place that Mike Trout has more stats than Babe Ruth is in stolen bases. So, but yeah,
Cool.
so yeah,
So
and
it
then
looked
you
like
can
the
start.
conversion worked for the most part.
Yeah, the conversion worked. Even salaries. So this shows you like salaries and stuff like that. But cool,
Looks like
cool.
you're missing
Looks.
something in the salaries. A
Oh yeah,
bogus icon or something.
yeah. That's weird. I'll have to remember that. To
Hey, just pop over the terminal and tell Scribe to add an issue. Say on the
yeah.
salaries page, blah blah blah, and create a GitHub issue for it. That's what I do the second time I do it, because it'll create a much clearer issue than I normally would.
So yeah, salary amount. Cool. Yeah. So let's go back to what we were talking about in the beginning. So if you do go out to this web app, it's hosted in Azure, but it is using a embedded SQLite file database that is in the Azure resource. What's it called? The app service. So it's in the app service out in Azure. So where it runs really fast locally, it doesn't run it. There's some performance issues when it's up in an app service. Uh, so I and Joe are going to move this to be using Azure SQL database, and we're going to, if you take a look at the makeup of this, there's no Azure or Aspire project in here because it hasn't been aspired. So we are going to bring Aspire into baseball history solution and set that up, and so that we can have this database easier. Now my question, Joe, is should we aspire first and then do the database, or do the database then aspire?
Honestly, it doesn't matter since you don't already have a database. You can add Aspire to it and then
That's what I was
add
thinking. And
Aspire
then
to the project, and then you can tell it to
create a
use SQL because
yeah.
we'll initialize it with database seed and everything, and then it can build out the database. Otherwise, you're going to have to build out the database locally with
Yeah.
Docker or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was thinking we would aspire everything first, and then basically I've got two SQL scripts that I created based on the SQLite database. And so I asked Claude Code to, I gave it the SQLite file, and I said, please create two SQL files from this SQLite database. One is a file that will create a SQL Server database schema that's equal to the SQLite database. And then I said, then create another SQL file with all the inserts that will contain all the data from the SQLite.
Did you happen to verify that to make sure that the schema actually works and that everything
I
works?
haven't, which I'll probably do tonight because we won't get through.
No, I mean, we only have technically
No,
15 minutes left.
15 minutes. So I will verify that tonight because I just got that done like a couple hours ago. So, so why don't we pair program and get Aspire on this? So, Joe, I or I could, or you could grab this project and show your screen, and then you could.
That means I'd have to get everything started.
I
You already
know,
have it
I
here.
know. I already
So
have
there's
it.
two different things. Let's open up a web browser and go to aspire.dev. For those of you who don't know what Aspire is, it's a framework that Microsoft has created that kind of allows you to orchestrate your application. What it means by orchestrate is it can do all the grunt work for you of not compiling, but putting together the resources you need for your application. Can you zoom in a little bit on the page?
Yep.
So what it'll essentially do is you script out in code what your application looks like. It uses API, it uses a website, it uses a database, blah blah blah. And as you put all those
Caching.
together,
Yeah.
it will go and build that. So when you run your app, you actually end up running what's called the Aspire host, and then it will go and do that. So there's two things you're going to need to do to get started. One is install the Aspire CLI.
Yep.
If you click on the Explore Docs, there you go. You get the first thing, Setup and Tooling, under Getting Started.
Yep. So we can install it. I already have it installed. So this
Okay.
is Mac OS.
You have the latest version.
I do not, and that's where
So
I
go to
need
the command line.
I let me
You can create a new terminal right there.
yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
And just do Aspire space update, I think it is. Yes, so
Yes.
it said that there's no Aspire host, which is correct. So it wants to know if you want it to update itself. Click yes. Do stable.
Stable. Yep. Don't
I
want
think the actual
nightly.
command was update space dash dash self, which tells
Oh,
it to
okay.
update itself. Okay, so now it's there. So if we go back to the docs, it's basically going to tell us the easy way to get started is to type in something like, I think it's Aspire space init, which will kind of create it. But before we do that, is your project broken up into an API and a website?
Nope. Just a web. This is ASP.NET Core Razor pages. So all this has is
So everything that the everything that the HTMX reads is just a method on a controller somewhere in there, right?
The code behind for the Razor pages. Yep.
Oh, because you're using pages, you're not using the
Yeah.
controller. Okay.
Yep. I'm not using controllers. I'm using Razor pages. So, and
Okay.
then the only other project is my tests.
Okay. So what I would do first, just like everything, is I typically would create an issue for it. I like issues for everything so you can track back work, but that's my thing.
Okay.
If you don't
So
want to
let's
do
do
that,
this. Scribe, create an issue to
add Aspire to the application or
add
Aspire fire. Yeah.
Aspire to the solution.
So while it does that, the next thing we're going to do is I haven't done this yet, so I don't know how easy it works. Go back to the documentation site, please.
Yep.
So see down there where it says AI coding agents, Aspire, MCP
Yeah.
server. So what this can do, we started talking about this before. This creates a MCP server, basically instructions for how to kind of, it allows your agents to understand how to work with Aspire. So we can actually go back and tell our agents we want
could
to
do
add
this,
Aspire
right?
to it.
Aspire agent init.
Yep. So you do that
Okay.
from command line in that project.
So let's wait till the issue gets created.
Well, I don't know if you do that. You probably have to do that from the command line, not from the Copilot session. So go to the local 2 that you have.
Should okay.
Do you want to create a branch with it? Or actually, no, it's not gonna. It's gonna
Oh,
create a file.
I'm still on the on that HTMX Razor branch. I could go back to main. But let's
That's
see.
indicating that you have 2 things that need to be pushed.
Yeah. Let's just let's just stay. For right now, I can always push this later. Let's just stay. So we're on this branch. Do we want to do Aspire agent init?
Yeah, and I think that does the registration that's needed.
Enter the path of the root of your workspace.
So that's probably correct.
Is it? Well,
I don't know.
so
How do you
let's
have
go.
the files saved?
Yeah, that's why I want to show you. And I'm doing this offline, and then I'll bring this in. So here is how it is. So
Yep.
there's, so
It wants that path right there, so
okay, okay.
that should be fine.
Then that's what we have. Okay. Install Aspire skill file, or do we want to install Aspire MCP
The skill
server?
file, I think, covers everything in there, so let's do
But
that.
let's do both. How about we install both?
Okay.
Do we want to install the Playwright?
And you don't have Playwright in there yet. That's something you could always add.
Yeah, we could add that. Okay. So we're gonna add the skill for Aspire, the skill file, and the Aspire MCP server for the agents to use. Okay, so it looks like we have added those. Let's go back to the documentation, because there's probably some other work that we need to do. So we configured that.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious if,
So that gives them their
there's-
first thing, their
Yeah.
what they can do.
yeah, I'm just curious if we have to do anything over in Copilot for them to pick
It
up.
will have the skill. You can do /agents. per agent, and that will list all the ones you have. So by default, it's going to go to squad, which is good. So that's what we currently have. So you can leave that there because the agent is what's going to do the work. The skill
Yeah.
outlines the type of work that can be done. So,
So
you
we
have
just want
skills
to
for-
learn.
No, it's fine the way it is. So we
Okay.
can leave that the way it is.
Okay.
Now, I think what we could do, or I think what could happen, is we can have the team work on number 19 or issue 19 because that's what it created. It's funny it said .NET Aspire because they don't call it .NET Aspire anymore.
Yeah. So plan out the work for issue 19. Assign the work and complete the tasks for the issue. Okay.
That should be really quick. While that's going, let's go back to the docs and see what it's recommending to do. We already got this set up in tooling. Let's go build your first app, see what's in there.
So this example's for a API service and a Blazor client front end. So by default, you do get two new projects in your solution, right, Joe?
Yeah, you get the Aspire host, which is all the logic, basically any shared settings that it uses, as well as the startup, which is the app host. Basically, that's your program.cs for your typical .NET app or startup, etc. And then there's the service defaults, which just has some generic extensions to it.
Yep.
And I think that's for the starter template, so that will give you a starter app. We don't want to do that. We just basically want to add it to ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's scroll down and see if there's any other options. Now, if you're using Visual Studio, there is a easy way in Visual Studio. You can right click on the solution and do add Aspire orchestration, and it kind of builds out everything for you.
I thought there was. I thought maybe there was that for Rider, but maybe not.
There is something similar in Rider. So if you go to the services tab on the left, it's the third from the bottom.
Oh, services.
It's above that check mark. Two more down.
Yep.
So I think there's an add. Oh, you can't do it there. I think it has to detect Aspire in the project for it to be there.
Okay.
So you can't do it. So we have the basic option of just doing it via command line. Since you're using Rider on a Mac, you don't have Visual Studio, you could do it in Visual Studio Code
Yeah.
if you choose. But we're going to just get the agent to install it since we added the skills and the MCP for it once it's done planning out that work. Shouldn't add any, I don't think it's going to add any tasks to it.
You mean the? Yeah.
Okay,
I
issue
don't know.
19. Let's see what work has been done on issue 19.
Hold on.
Looks like Ripley's done.
No comments yet. You
Well,
just
he
have
just
the,
updated all the text, so
yeah.
he's still verifying. And see right there, they just created a commit to it. So soon the scribe will tell you where you can see that work.
History. Design is green. Okay.
The one thing I do not really like about the agents is that we have to, it's a lot of waiting. Like some things you would
Mm-hmm.
think would be really fast to do. And then others are like, oh, I finished this in like 10 seconds. It would have
Yeah.
taken me, 3 days to do. And then other things like this should be done in like 30 seconds. And now we're 10 minutes into it, still
Yeah.
waiting for it to do something.
It's doing a lot of validating and checking and rechecking, and I think there's agents checking other agents' work, and so to see you see Lambert will do the gate pass instead of reviewing of special to plan, and so there's lots of checking and verification and validation and rechecking, which is good.
Oh, it's
It just,
actually, if you look at it, Parker, who's your DevOps person, is actually implementing it.
yeah, which is good, but it does use a lot of tokens.
Well, if you notice, I know you don't have viewers displaying. It doesn't use, oh, I mean, it uses tokens, but a lot of it aren't premium requests.
Yeah. So I have a question. This 41% down here at the bottom right, is that the contact? Is that the like
Yes. It's
percent
like, it's
of the
called the
context that's
context
filled?
perspective, the
Okay.
percentage. That's what it, how much it knows
Yeah.
about the task or what it's doing. I've never seen that number go higher than 60.
Oh, I had one that was like 70 or 80,
Yeah, I got
but
mine open on to the side of this, and it's currently at, oh, it just hit 60%. If you want to find your token usage, you have to kind of add that manually.
oh,
There's a
okay.
command, I think it's display / display.
So we do have Parker. He's scaffolding the Aspire host now, which is the main irreversible step. I'm holding Lambert until Parker finishes, so the review stays clean in one pass. So, so it
Cool.
looks like Lambert's gonna check Parker's work after it gets done. So that's what I'm saying. It checks and rechecks and makes sure other agents always have to check the other agent's work.
Which is helpful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just takes more time. So
Yeah. Speaking of time, we are out of it.
we are out of time. Yeah,
So I
which
think the next step would be for us to let this run its course, and
yep.
then tomorrow uh, we kick
We
off and show this, and then add that database change, which gives you the opportunity to validate that Claude created valid
yeah,
SQL statements and stuff.
yeah. So yeah, let's we'll come back tomorrow. Aspire will be added and we can move on from there. So thanks everyone. I don't think we had a anyone watching any guests this time. So Joe, thanks for spending an hour with me, and we will see you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye all.
Okay, bye.